He didn't know why his crazy friends came up with the idea that acting sexy was better than acting cute. He didn't know how they got his first love schedule for that day. He didn't even have the slightest idea how they knew that Taekook, the hottest man on earth, or so he thought, would be going to the bar that night. Jungkook didn't know how he got there as well, seated on a stool beside the man he has been dreaming of, wearing a short dress with 2 glasses of tequila in his hands. He didn't know why his friends told him to give the other glass to the bachelor, but he did anyway. No, he didn't know how his friends got him to agree to this plan. All he knew was that when he was breathing slowly his heart felt calm. He tried to stand but lost his balance. His body was not in his control due to drowsiness. Suddenly he felt a pat on his back, and someone tried to help him get up, but his vision was blurred, so he tried to reach his hands to the person's face to see who it was. The person was saying something, but Jungkook was not in his right mind. He couldn't understand a single word said. Jungkook felt warm cheeks of the other person on the palm of his hands. He moved closer and saw red plump lips. His eyes lingered on those beautiful inviting lips. He started tracing them with his fingers, putting his index finger on his upper lips and thumb on lower lip. Suddenly the person stopped talking and froze as if surprised by action. The next day, when he woke up, he felt a massive pain in his head and whole body. It felt as if everything was sore, and maybe everything really was. He felt a sting when he sat up, so he quickly caressed his while rubbing his eyes to take the sleepiness and pain away. Still drowsy, he looked around the room he was in, taking in the white walls and ceiling that didn't seem a bit familiar to him. It was all new to him, but he was not even fully awake yet to tell. So instead of running out of the unfamiliar room, he lay back down on the bed and closed his eyes, ready to sleep again. An arm pulled his small body towards its embrace, and a toned chest met his face. It was nice for a moment until a groan entered his ears. His eyes fluttered open, feeling the space beside him that was currently being occupied by someone. Someone muscular but not bulky. Someone that smelled good but felt different. So no, this was not his pillow nor his friend. This someone was a man. Slowly, afraid to wake the other up, he raised his head to peek at the man's face. His eyes dilated and a bunch of oxygen stuck in his lungs when he saw that face. The face of Kim Taekook, the man of his dreams, the reason why he woke up every morning feeling lively and hopeful, and probably the first and last man he would ever desire this much. He knew he would never have a chance with this man, so why was Taekook sleeping beside him now? Cuddling him like her husband would do to his wife every morning? Was this another one of his dreams, or were his eyes tricking him again? He brought his hand up to touch the man's face, caressing the smooth skin of his left cheekbones, and he gasped loudly at the feeling. The contact felt so real. Jungkook withdrew his hand. When Taekook's lips twitched and eyebrows furrowed, his eyes slowly opened and scanned the room, like what Jungkook did earlier, before Taekook's gaze landed on him. Both eyes met, and for the first time in months, Jungkook felt all the heat gathered across his face. Confusion was written all over Taekook's face, and Jungkook's was almost the same, if it weren't for the blush that scattered on his cheeks. Taekook looked down at their bodies before sitting right up, and within a flash, Jungkook was down on the floor clutching tightly to the blanket that was covering his naked body. How Jungkook tried massaging. That hurts, he complained, thinking that now he was awake and the man was finally, unfortunately, gone. Just like any other dream. Who are you? And why are you here? But that stern voice told him otherwise. Jungkook froze. He swore he felt his heart stop beating for a second. He quickly looked back to the bed and the man was still there, glaring at him as if he was a criminal. Jungkook didn't know what happened, didn't even have the slightest idea how he got into this mess, but maybe he would take advantage of it. Maybe it would take advantage of him. Jungkook was quiet. Time when he finally got dressed and the sheets were finally changed to new ones, he knew he would get bombarded with questions. Maybe with hard ones that even he didn't know the answers to first. Taehyung tried asking the maids. You came home together and went straight to your room. We tried to ask you about him, but you were too occupied kissing him. They replied it was blurry. The memories of that night were not clear, but they both knew they enjoyed it. Both didn't want it to happen without their conscious consent, but they enjoyed it. The marks on Jungkook's neck and chest area were enough proof. But Taehyung said otherwise. So he glares back at Jungkook, his eyes squinting at the sight of him. Now that he looked carefully at him, Jungkook looked awfully familiar. Did we use protection? The seriousness laced in Taehyung's voice brought shivers down his spine, but it also brought another bunch of heat to his face. I don't remember. Jungkook didn't remember how their talk went. All he knew was that the cat suddenly got his tongue. He stuttered and didn't get to say a completely understandable sentence. The overwhelming presence of the love of his life occupied his mind, and he didn't notice both the fiery expression on Taehyung's face and the uncaring glint in his eyes. Jungkook knew he didn't have the strength to face that kind of look, but he wished he saw it. He wished he was aware of the dirt that was about to stain his innocent white light. He also wished he was prepared for Taehyung's next words, for those strokes a painful arrow to his chest. I don't know how we ended up in my house. I wouldn't even take you to a damn restaurant for a date. So get out of here and do not show your face to me ever again. This will be the last time that I will see you. Taehyung walked out after that, taking his phone and wallet with him, as if it was not his house, as if Jungkook was not his the night before that. Maybe Taehyung didn't appreciate him, or maybe he just didn't like him. Maybe Taehyung was just like that, or maybe he was like that just to Jungkook. Please forgive our boss. He's just like that every time he went with someone. You're the first one that he took home though, a maid told him, trying to appease his conflicting mind and aching heart. But it was no use. It just made the pain more excruciating. Yes, he knew that he was not the only one. He knew that the man that he had been trying to gain was gaining a lot of women and men as well. It was so obvious. Taehyung was everything that a person would ask for. A handsome face, a masculine body, with an intimidating but strong aura, mature thinking, rich, damn. He would go through every good thing about him for the whole day, if he has to. He has a list for that, for Pete's sake. But he was not needed here. All these people around him knew exactly what was written on his list, because they'd been living with Taehyung. They might even know more things about him than Jungkook. If his friends found out what happened to him, he was sure he would be a laughingstock. What he didn't know though was that when he took a step out of that house, everything was going to change in an instant. He didn't know it, but the life that he has been enjoying, or not, would come crashing down. To say that Jungkook was shocked was an understatement. He was dumbfounded. Hell, he was alarmed, frightened even. He didn't know the future that awaited him, but he knew by now that it was not going to be pleasant. When he stepped out of that house, he didn't know he was being watched. He didn't know someone was taking pictures of him leaving the hottest bachelor's house. He just learned of them when he got to his apartment. His roommate/co-worker/friend, Jimin, greeted him with his pictures scattered all over the internet.